Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about why you should stop being poor. Now, this is said part tongue-in-cheek, based on this old perception there was of some rich people, and there was a story of a rich young lady who inherited a bunch of money, or was going to inherit a bunch of money, and so she was seen as kind of snobbish, and she's wearing this shirt that says, "Stop being desperate." And it was photoshopped into saying, "Stop being poor." And while that's humorous, many people get very mad, and they still believe it to be the case today, that's what she was wearing. And this has been kind of a joke among the poor and middle class that, oh, the rich just want you to just stop being poor. Why don't poor people go just buy more money? But I want you to stop and think about something here. Even though this is meant in humor, there is something very important that is overlooked in this. You see, when somebody's malnourished, do we presume, oh, you're just malnourished? There's no solution for that. No, we know there's a solution for that. Matter of fact, back in the old days, when somebody was obese or overweight even, it was seen to be a form of malnourishment because their body was out of control. It wasn't getting the proper nutrition. Too often, malnourishment is just seen as people starving, but no, it can be other things like having a standard American diet, a standard Western diet, where you're eating rotten animal flesh and all these processed foods and the menstrual discharges of chickens, as in eggs, and dairy, and all this stuff that is not good for you. And is one of the reasons why so many people in these developed countries are overweight and even obese. Over 50% of the population. But there's a solution for that. Not just diet, but also exercise, moving more, not being sedentary. There's a solution. We recognize there being a solution to malnourishment. If you're starving, the solution is to get more food. And if you're overweight, malnourished, the solution is to eat a better diet, a healthy diet, the diet your body's made for, that will get you the most nutrition so you can be restored back to health. But when it comes to finances, there appears to be no solution. People act as if there's no, you're poor. And as if that's just, boom, the door's shut, the cage is around you, you're stuck, you're poor. Or even middle class, it could be. Many people just settle for that. And the walls come down and they're just trapped in this cage of middle class. But that's not the case. It only becomes that if you choose to allow that to be the case. But there have been plenty of people in the past, and there will continue to be people in the future who move forward from wherever state they're in right now. And so, yes, you can choose to stop being poor. Now, just like without malnourishment, it's not going to immediately overnight right itself, but over the course of time passing, you will get closer to being rich instead of being poor. We live in a time-based reality, so time will pass. But here's the thing, time's going to pass anyway. So if it takes you 5 years, say, well, that's going to take too long, you're still going to spend the same 5 years. It's still going to go by. The same 5 years will pass, but you just will not have moved toward the end goal. You will not have moved toward being rich and wealthy. You'll just continue being poor. And that's a choice you will have made. Now, people will look to blame, and they'll cast aspersions on, well, my parents were this, and, I grew up in this environment, in this city, and this, and all these excuses for why they're where they are. And you could take all those and say those are all valid. Whether they are or not doesn't matter. But now what are you going to do? If you're malnourished, you can blame the weather, you can blame the conditions in your environment. What are you going to do to get out of that position? If you're morbidly obese because you've been eating a bad diet, you can just talk about what currently is and what you don't want, or you can move to the solution. What is the solution? Start implementing that each and every day. And yes, it will take time, but you will get healthier. You will start to nourish your body and it will start to become healthier. And that's the same for your finances. There's a lot of truth to the saying that people's finances reflect their spirituality. It reflects what's going on in their soul. If your finances are a wreck, maybe what's going on in your soul's a wreck too. And listen, what is more missing the mark than not being what you were created by God to be? Which is going to be more. It's going to be expansive. It's going to be greater than what you are today. And yet many people settle for being just as they are, not moving forward, just good enough, comfortable, content in their apathy. Not being content, but content in apathy, which is a very different thing. And that's not what you should be doing. When you know to do good and you do it not, to you it is sin. That's plain. It's in James chapter 4. That's the scripture on it. And that is the reason for many people's poverty. Not all, of course. There's all kinds of issues and situations. But even those situations, there is a solution for them. And too often people are only looking at what they're seeing, only looking at the causes and the problems that are going on in their lives, and not for the solution to those things. Because of course, if there's an effect, then there must be a cause as well. But what is the solution for that? If you're doing something day in and day out that is not getting you good results, why do you keep doing it? I just saw a study that showed that during the pandemic lockdowns, people were watching media, whether it be videos, movies, things like this. They were watching over 6 hours a day on average. Now, my friend, I want you to stop and think about that. Are those people spending 6 hours a day on entertainment going to be in as good a position as the person who spent that same amount of time bettering themselves, working in their business? Because listen, if you were locked down, you couldn't go to work and you had to be in your house, and instead of doing anything to better yourself, you're just watching movies and stuff, playing video games. See, there's a solution to where your finances are right now. There's a solution to where your mindset is right now, but you have to choose it. You're not stuck. You're not trapped. You don't have to stay where you are. There's no reason for you to be in that position tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. It is something you can choose by your mindset to change right now, to renew your mind, and then you'll know the perfect will of God. My friend, you are called to have life and life more abundantly. You're called to have that blessed life. Jesus became poor that you through his poverty might be made rich. And the blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. My friend, you are called to great things. You're not called to wallow around wherever you are. Even if where you are right now is good, you're called to more, to constant growth and expansion by the leading of the Spirit. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.